I have a true honor to be the one that introduces the chairman of the Board of County Commissioners to do the presentation today. The request, similar to Trish's, was that it be short and sweet, which could be a description of lots of things, but that would not be a description of me, probably. That would not be a description of Brenda, probably. But let me tell you what I think changes a community. What changes a community is somebody's willingness to be objective, to be thorough, to be passionate with reason, and to always be willing to listen to others and to collaborate. And that describes our chairman. So without further ado, Chairman Brenda Carey.
Well, good afternoon. I have to do the height adjustment now. Of course, I can't see anything up here. But you know, as I was preparing to do the State of the County this year, I started thinking about all the great things that have happened and the things that I've seen in this county in the 55 years that I've lived here. And I will tell you, it's changed a lot. It is my pleasure to be here with you today to present the State of the County as a chairman, and I couldn't be the chairman without my colleagues. So at this time, I would like to recognize my colleagues on the Board of County Commissioners. As I call your name, please stand and remain standing until the end, and we'll hold our applause till the end just for time's sake. Vice Chairman and District 4 County Commissioner, Carlton Henley. District 1 Commissioner, Bob Delary. John Horan, District 2. And Commissioner Dick Vanderwide, District 3. Let's give them a warm round of applause. As most of you know, the county operates under a charter county form of government. And we have a county manager who runs the day-to-day operations. He manages 8 divisions and over 1,300 employees. Just as you have seen changes in your business, we've seen changes in government. We've all been through some very difficult times, but I would like to recognize our team of dedicated Seminole County employees that are also here today. If you're a Seminole County employee, please stand and be recognized. We could bring the lights up so we could see these great employees. I'd appreciate it. I think you can all see me with the lights up a little bit. It's a little nicer from this view, so if we could just leave it like that, that'd be great. You know, we also work very closely on a lot of regional issues, and I will tell you that I have had more fun with a very good friend of mine. I've known her a long time, long before she was ever elected to office. I remember when she first started being drug around by Dick Spears, and then he talked her into being the president of the Orange County Homeowners Association. And I've known Teresa Jacobs for years, and she's here with us today, and it's great to have you here. Please stand and be recognized. Orange County Mayor Teresa Jacobs. You know, many things happen at the federal and state level that affect us right here at home. Some things affect us more than others. Unfortunately, most of our representatives couldn't be here with us today because they're either in Washington or in Tallahassee. As active leaders in the community, you know most of them personally. So if you are a federal or state representative or a staff member of a federal or state representative, please stand and let us recognize you for the hard work you're doing in Washington and Tallahassee. You know, one of the things that makes Seminole County a great place and quite unique from a lot of places is our ability to collaborate and partner with the cities, the school board, and with our constitutional officers. While each of us have our own elected representation, the citizens see us as one community. I think we can all agree that government closest to the people best serves the people. So I would like to recognize our 5 elected constitutional officers. If you would please stand and remain standing until I get to the end. Clerk of the Court, Mary Ann Morris. Property Appraiser, David Johnson. Supervisor of Elections, Michael Ertel. Tax Collector, Ray Valdez. And the man who keeps us all safe, our sheriff, Don Esslinger. Let's give him a round of applause. In addition, there are also 36 elected representatives who are elected by you that represent the 7 cities. As I call your city, if you would please stand, and I'd like to have all the cities continue to stand until we get all 7 up. Starting with our county seat and with the city that had the most growth over the last 10 years, the city of Sanford. Altamont Springs, Castleberry, Lake Mary, Longwood, Oviedo, Winter Springs. Let's give them all a round of applause. Thank you so much. Of course, we are known for the wonderful educational system that we have here in Seminole County, and I'd like to recognize our school board members as well, who, by the way, are the largest employer in Seminole County. School board members, please stand and be recognized. Today I'm going to focus on a few important things that happened in 2011 and share a few things that we see for 2012. We had 2 important positions to fill last year, and we did a nationwide search for a new county manager and a new county attorney. Although he had Central Florida in his blood, we found our county manager in Alexandria, Virginia. In case you haven't met him, I'd like to introduce our new county manager, Jim Hartman. In addition, after 30 years, we have a new county attorney. In fact, he and Jim Hartman used to work together in their early careers in Orange County. So we are very proud to welcome back to Central Florida our new county attorney, Bryant Applegate. Bryant? And so many times our city managers really don't ever get recognized for the hard work that they do. But we have a lot of new city managers, and because I'm not sure that the public really knows who they are, I'd like all the city managers to just stand and be recognized. You know, every 10 years after the United States Census is complete, we review our county district maps to make sure that we're in compliance with the law. There are many factors that are considered as this process goes on. The majority of growth actually occurred in my district, District 5, with over 36,000 new residents, over 23,000 in the Oviedo area, District 1, and over 6,000 in District 2. A few rules had to be followed while they were going through this process, including ensuring that the population was equally divided among the 5 counties, keeping the districts contiguous, trying to use man-made or natural boundaries as the dividing lines, and incumbency considerations were also given. In our case, our committee identified where all the county commissioners and all the school board members lived and wanted to make sure that they protected those boundaries. The county committee started with this process in March, and they had over 23 map versions that they started out with. After many meetings and a lot of time spent comparing maps to the law, in August, the 3 maps that best met the rules were presented to the public. They were also presented to the school board and their staff at that time for their review and comment as well. You know, you did a good job when after 2 community meetings and 2 public hearings, you only had 1 person made a comment. So the Board of County Commissioners adopted the new district maps in September, and the school board did the same in December. While redistricting remains in the news for both the state and federal level, we've moved on and moved our focus onto the economy. That's a subject that's on everyone's mind these days, whether you're in business or whether you're just dealing with your household budget. Economic development is a very important part of our local economy. So when time came for us last year to update our economic development plan, we partnered with Leadership Seminole to assemble an economic development committee driven by private business with the task of generating a new economic development plan. This 26-member committee of business leaders met for 6 months as volunteers and developed a strategic plan to ensure a healthy economic growth in the future of Seminole County. Let's hear what Commissioner Horan has to say about the plan.
Like so many of the American people, the citizens of Seminole County are very concerned about jobs and the economy. This year, 26 business people from Seminole County got together and actually put together an economic development plan and presented it to the Seminole County Commission. The Economic Development Strategic Plan will require new personnel and more resources. The new Economic Development Director, who will be working with our long-standing Economic Development Manager, Bill McDermott, will start work on February 27. The Economic Development Report has a full implementation plan and schedule, which you can see here on the graphic. It should be fully implemented by September of 2012. It is pretty easy to see how the economic downturn has impacted us locally. Seminole County unemployment has gone from 9,000 people in 2007, which was a rate of 3.7%, to 22,808 people in early 2011, which is an unemployment rate of 10.5%. That's a difference of about 14,000 people. And that does not include approximately 5,600 people who have either left the county or are completely off the grid because they're no longer collecting unemployment benefits. But job creation is going on in Seminole County. During 2011, the Economic Development Office worked with 26 projects, many of which are still active. The key issue facing small businesses was the ability to secure new capital. It is anticipated that several of these companies will expand or locate in Seminole County during 2012. These are the projects that have been worked on this year and the results. Advanced Solar Photonics, Blue Chip Energy, has created 560 new jobs over the next 3 years with a capital investment of $7.9 million. Avocet, Aircraft Maintenance and Engineering, will create 150 new jobs over a 3-year period with a capital investment of $5 million. Easy Yield Com Inc. will create 75 new jobs over a 3-year period with a capital investment of $500,000. Industrial Lighting Products, 59 new jobs with a capital investment of $225,000. Millennium Luxury Coaches, 43 new jobs with a capital investment of $489,000. Roses Southeast Papers, 50 new jobs with a capital investment of $7.2 million. And Team Simru, a firm that has relocated from Chicago, will create 20 new jobs with a capital investment of $300,000. Basically, we have 6 business expansions, 1 relocation, 957 new jobs over a 3-year period, and a new capital investment in this county in the last year of $21.3 million. The people of Seminole County will not tolerate economic failure. They are ready to make a commitment to commerce. The governments in Seminole County are ready to stand by them and stand behind them. In Seminole County, we're not just talking about economic development, we're doing it.
We accepted that report in October of this year, past year, and immediately funded $350,000 toward this program. If you were one of the volunteer business leaders who served on this committee, would you please stand and be recognized for your very hard work? Let's give them a round of applause. And we've already taken the first steps to putting this plan in place. In fact, we've recently hired our new Economic Development Director. Some of you may know him from his 13 years with Metro Orlando EDC. He couldn't be here with us today because he's wrapping things up in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we wanted you to know who he is. I'm pleased to announce the new Seminole County Economic Development Director is John Krug. One of our largest economic drivers is the Orlando Sanford International Airport. The airport generates over $2.5 billion, that's a B, with a B, billion dollars annually in economic activity and provides over 18,000 jobs, both directly and indirectly. Their 20-year master plan was updated this year, and as a result, there will be a $25 million runway expansion, which will begin in fall of this year. Airport services continue to expand both domestically and internationally. With 42 domestic and 26 international flights, that's a major increase over last year. The airport also has a new carrier, SST Air, who flies seasonal nonstop flights into 4 Brazilian locations. You might recall last year that Larry Dell actually made the national news. when he spoke out against TSA issues. As a result, the airport applied to participate in private security screening, which was immediately denied. But Congress recently passed a new FAA reauthorization bill, and the new process is more favorable to applicants, and it will also allow the airport to reapply and be considered under these new guidelines. Well, you know, Larry, I heard that President Obama wanted to give you a Valentine's Day present, so he signed that bill into law on Valentine's Day just for you. Happy Valentine's Day, Larry, and congratulations on a job well done. You know, on a serious note, and I didn't even have to tell Larry to wear a red shirt today. He just instinctively knew I was going to get him for something. I would like to recognize President and CEO Larry Dale and some of his board members and his staff that are here today because they do a wonderful job at the airport. And I would tell you, if you haven't been out there lately, you need to go. And if you haven't flown out of there lately, you need to check the flights. Larry, would you and your staff and your board members please stand and be recognized? When you think about economic development, an important factor is the ability to move goods and services around, people around the region and the state. Most people don't realize that the federal government actually mandates that we have a multimodal transportation plan in place. And if not, you risk losing federal funding for transportation, which in Central Florida amounts to about $1.5 billion over the next 5 years. We are lucky to have two of our county commissioners serving in the top spots of transportation. Commissioner Henley has been the chairman of Lynx for 8 years. And I hear the Lynx folks back there clapping. And he also serves as our representative on the Central Florida Commuter Rail Commission. Commissioner DeLaury has had his finger on the pulse of all transportation projects throughout Central Florida as the chairman of MetroPlan Orlando for the past 14 months. And he's going to give us an update.
Transportation. It's a connection that brings us all together, an important part of our day-to-day activities here in Seminole County. Hello, I'm Commissioner Bob DeLaury, and I represent District 1 on the Board of County Commissioners. And part of my responsibilities is to represent Seminole County on the Regional Transportation Planning Board, MetroPlan Orlando. MetroPlan Orlando provides a forum for local leaders, industry experts, community members to come together and to plan the transportation system for today and for tomorrow. From highways to a bus system and even a future commuter rail line, our transportation system continues to evolve. Two major highway projects are taking shape in our backyard right now. You can expect to see lots of activity on Interstate 4 in the upcoming years as the I-4 transformation project begins. Once completed, this massive reconstruction project will fully expand the 73 miles of I-4, including the portions in Seminole County. After more than a decade of planning, the last segment of Central Florida's Beltway is also moving forward. The Wekiva Parkway will connect Orange, Seminole, and Lake counties, carefully navigating through environmentally sensitive portions of the Wekiva Springs State Park. At a cost of nearly $1.7 billion, a financing partnership between the Florida Department of Transportation, the Florida Turnpike Enterprise, and the Orlando-Orange County Expressway Authority was necessary. Following careful considerations by local elected officials and the MetroPlan Orlando Board recently, the decision was made to proceed. Construction should begin in 2012. The current project schedule means this.
Welcome to Apopka. How was your trip on the new Wekiva Parkway?
Could be a reality in the year 2021. And when it comes to transportation, that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Mayor Land's not here with us today, but I got to tell you, I serve on about 3 or 4 committees with him, and he is just such a pleasure to serve with. He is a wonderful institution in government, and the longest-serving mayor, in case you didn't know this, in the United States. So, in June of last year, State Secretary of Transportation Anath Prasad met with elected leaders throughout Central Florida to discuss the Sunrail project. And on July 1st, Governor Scott announced that commuter rail station would stay on track and move forward. Let's get an update on Sunrail.
Central Florida's top transportation priority reached a big milestone at the start of this year when federal, state, and local partners gathered in Altamont Springs to break ground on the Sunrail project.
I have been around here long enough to know that in order to get something of this magnitude, that it takes collaboration, cooperation, and dedication. And that is exactly what happened here, from Washington to Tallahassee, to the local agencies, and to the business partners in this region, who were all committed to the same vision in making this happen. And we're here today as a result of that collaboration.
Once completed, this 61.5-mile passenger rail line will connect Volusia, Seminole, Orange, and Osceola counties, with 4 stops right here in Seminole County: Sanford, Longwood, Lake Mary, and Altamont Springs. Construction will include double tracking, signal improvements, and a development of an operation control center. Each community along the corridor is already working together to create an atmosphere that encourages smart growth and transit connections. Let's take a look at some of the concepts already planned for the stations in Seminole County. Sunrail is changing the way we travel in Central Florida. With construction underway, the completion of Phase 1 connecting DeBerry to Orlando is just around the corner in 2 years. The train is almost ready to move down the tracks.
After 20 years and over $1 billion in transportation infrastructure and infrastructure investment, the penny sales tax expired on December 31st. However, we are continuing to discuss the penny, but the discussion is now centered around whether the penny should be a Charter County transportation penny or a sales tax penny. Sales tax can only be used for capital projects, bricks and sticks, and cannot be used for operational costs, which is where the money is most needed. The county, the cities, and the school board all need operational dollars, so the penny sales tax doesn't really help anyone. We are working with the school board right now in the state legislature to amend the language that would allow charter counties the ability to share a portion of a penny tax for transportation. It would give us an opportunity to share that penny with the school board to pay for school bus transportation, which currently is a $22 million budget item. Either way, it's still just a penny. The only difference is that a transportation penny can be used for operations and a sales tax penny cannot. It's just another tool in our toolbox, and it would still require voter approval. Speaking of schools, Seminole County continues to have an impressive report card. Besides what you see on the slide, our public schools have one of the highest graduation rates and the highest college-ready rate in Central Florida. A few more facts from last year. Crooms Academy was ranked #1 in the nation by U.S. News World Report in their technology-connected school ranking. And the school also was recently named to the College Board's Advanced Placement Honor Roll for the 2nd consecutive year, only one of 3 districts nationwide to receive this honor. While we always like to celebrate the good news, we are also known as a community that pulls together when we have issues to deal with. In 2011, many learned for the first time that there were over 1,000 students homeless in the Seminole County school process when 60 Minutes aired its news story. The good news is that that number is down by over 200 from last year. The bad news, there are still over 1,450 homeless children in Seminole County schools. The school board and the community have pulled hard together to work on this very difficult issue. So far this year, the school board's Family and Transitions, along with many other community organizations, have helped hundreds of families with emergency housing, utility assistance, and over 1,200 students have been helped with educational expense, health, and social services. We are a community who responds when we have families in crisis. In fact, after that news story last spring, then school board member Dee Dee Schaffner, myself, and senior pastor Joel Hunter from Northland Church all got together to discuss how we could make sure that these children didn't go hungry during the summer. Through collaboration and partnership, I'm proud to say that free lunch and breakfast were offered at 27 sites, including schools, churches, clubs, and apartment complexes. 16 food pantries were also established during the summer. Since then, the community has adopted over 48 permanent food pantries located at the schools, and 2 of the elementary schools have actually created a kindness cottage and a care cabin where families can shop for supplies, clothing, and food. And our educational excellence doesn't end with K through 12. Seminole State College is another great success story. And as Dr. McGee said, nearly 40% of students graduating from Seminole County Public Schools enroll at Seminole State College. Their Direct Connect to UCF program has grown exponentially every year. Seminole State not only has a huge impact on higher education, but also on our local economy. $96 million awarded to students this year in financial aid. That circulates back through the local economy, through payroll, purchases, rent payment, and groceries. They are also the 3rd largest employer in the county and have 4 campuses and 6 sites. But education is just one piece of the pie that makes Seminole County so special. Our natural lands and trails are another component of the live, work, play lifestyle that we all love. And voters played an important role in that as well. Since 1990, voters have approved 2 referendums which generated over $45 million toward natural lands, trails, greenways, and blueways. As a result, the county has created over 37 miles of paved trails, over 60 miles of unpaved trails, and we've acquired over 6,600 acres of wilderness areas. We continuously work on improving our trail system, and the most recent and most needed improvement was the trail tunnel crossing at Lake Mary Boulevard. I'm proud to say that it opened on time, December 2011, and was $200,000 under budget. Not everyone is aware of all of the things that we do as county commissioners. And while many cities, counties, state, and federal groups were in the news last year with union issues, picketing, and standoffs, I'm pleased to announce that with a little give and take from both sides, we successfully completed contract negotiations with our only union employees in the county, both the A and B units of the EMS Fire Rescue Division. We do have an outstanding group of men and women in that division, and last year they received accreditation from the Commission on Accreditation of Ambulance Excellence for their compliance with national standards of excellence. This accreditation was established to encourage and promote quality patient care. And Seminole County Fire Department is only the 2nd fire department in the state of Florida that holds this prestigious accreditation, and 10th in the nation. They also got out and volunteered by partnering to install 97 location signs on the trail system at the Little Big Econ State Forest. Thousands of visitors and residents every year ride horses, hike, and bike through this 5,000-acre system. In addition, we completed the first phase of a federally mandated franchise change known as radio rebanding. This process required our telecommunications staff to touch 11,000 radios that are used by the cities and the counties to do the conversion. And I'm happy to say that that's a task that we completed phase 1 of, and they were very happy to see it be done. With all the good news came some bad news as our fire department received the call on January 16th of this year that the Senator, a 3,500-year-old tree at Big Tree Park, was on fire. A historic landmark, the Senator stood 118 feet tall and was recognized as a state champion tree. When I was a child growing up in Seminole County, pre-Disney, when family and friends came to town, we took them to Big Tree Park to see the Senator and get water from the Fountain of Youth. I'm sure many of you old-timers have done the same. In fact, this photograph is actually my grandparents taking their relatives to see the Senator in 1947. The charred remains are heartbreaking. And we are in the process right now of finalizing plans to make sure that the Senator is well memorialized and that its history and story are known throughout the county, the state, and the nation. 2011 was another strong year for the Seminole County Sheriff's Office. They believe that the best approach to public safety is a proactive one. Working with the community to prevent crimes before they occur is not just a philosophy, it's a daily practice. Citizens continue to enjoy historically low crime rates because of this approach. In fact, Seminole County has the lowest crime rate in all of the Central Florida counties. It's no secret that Florida has faced tremendous problems with the prescription drug crisis. In fact, 7 Floridians die every day in prescription drug overdoses. The sheriff, in conjunction with Sanford, Altamont, Longwood, and FDLE, started a pharmaceutical diversion unit to address the prescription drug crimes in our community. To date, they have seized over 17,500 pills and made over 190 arrests, and reports show that this is working. Last year, when the state closed our local juvenile detention center, our children were sent to Orange County facilities. These families, already families in crisis, had an additional burden to be able to go visit their children. And I have to tell you, the sheriff and I toured the facility, which was very disappointing. A financial analysis was done, discussion began, and the Board of County Commissioners authorized the Sheriff's Department to take over this operation. I'm happy to announce that the facility will reopen in April, and it will also save you, the taxpayers, over $1 million a year by having the sheriff run that department. Sheriff, I'd like to thank you for all your assistance and all your partnership. Well, we started off the new year full of energy, and our focus, one of our major focuses, will continue to be on development. You know, a lot of people complain about development, but now that we haven't had any for the last few years, everybody's starting to realize what a difference it makes. But our focus will not only be on new development, but also on redevelopment. We will be hiring a new coordinator to help us focus on the 1792 redevelopment, which is a very important corridor to be revitalized in this county. I can even remember when 1792 was the only main drive in town, because I-4 didn't open until 1958. In addition, we continue to work with the cities on their transit-oriented development design around the Sunrail stations. And if you didn't know it, Lynx, along with Altamont, Castleberry, Longwood, and Maitland, are currently designing a FlexBus demonstration project that will connect all of those areas with the Sunrail stations and also the activity, job, and population centers. Just like you, we looked at our business to determine how we could be more customer-friendly and provide better customer service. We know that it's important to offer fast, convenient services. Today, everybody wants it 2 minutes ago. Our new services will include online building permits, e-plan review, and e-books at the library. Speaking of new technology, we are using QR codes and electronic media to present our county manager's report this year. So before you leave, make sure you pick up one of these cards or look in your program, and there's a QR code that will take you directly to that link with the county manager's annual report. Another example of how we have looked at changing the way we do business is an evaluation that we had done of our telephone lines and our phone system. After the audit and adopting recommendations by S2K, we saved over $83,000 annually simply by eliminating unused phone lines and phone numbers. We also switched our telephone service, which saved us an additional $154,000 a year. Well, that doesn't seem like a lot of money when you're talking millions and billions. It's $235,000 in just one line of our budget. Like many of you, we are still facing a budget crisis. The new normal has forced us to change the way we operate our business, to do more with less, just like you. We have reduced over $50 million from our operating budget, which is about 20%, while maintaining consistently high quality public service. We continue to focus on streamlining our operations and reducing program costs. As an example that I touched on earlier was that the board authorized the sheriff to take over the operation of the juvenile detention center. Not only is that better for the citizens of this county, it also saves us that $1 million. And we know that the sheriff will do a much better job than the state was doing of running that facility. Like you, we are challenged to stay ahead of the continuous decline in revenues. The real estate and economy reached its peak in 2006, and at the same time, we began to see revenues decline as a result of the economic slowdown. And we saw a significant reduction in our revenue with the property tax reform legislation. As all of you know, things quickly got worse with the recession. To put all of that into perspective, property tax represents about 65% of the general revenue that support core governmental services. Overall, the taxable value of property in Seminole County has dropped by $10 billion over the last 5 years. You know, that means for us at the county about $73 million of revenue gone. That's over 1/4 of the revenue that we use to fund our core services. We are back to the levels of revenue that we had in 2003 and 2004. Growth over that same period grew by 15%. You know, with the assistance of our property appraiser, David Johnson, who's done a wonderful job, he and his team, of working with the board, we have used forecasting models to plan for reductions. And this upcoming year, we are anticipating another 2 to 3% decline in our revenues, which equates to about $4.5 million. The good news is that by proactively planning, we have maintained a strong financial position. And I'm happy to report we have been able to keep our AA credit rating. AA to an investor means a high-grade, high-quality investment opportunity. AA to a taxpayer means lower cost of borrowing money. It symbolizes that the county has continued to work hard on economic and financial strength. We are optimistic about economic recovery for Seminole County. In serving as effective stewards of the county's long-term financial health, the board continues to make sound investments for the future. That's why we approved moving forward with the economic development plan that was discussed earlier. We know that the county will continue to face challenges from outside sources, including but not limited to economic adjustments, potential natural disasters, and important policy changes that are made by other agencies in Tallahassee and Washington. Sustainability, a buzzword that we hear a lot of in both the public and private sector. But in reality, a sustainable system is merely a balanced system that can be disrupted by external shocks. A lesson learned during this current recession, sustainability is not enough to ensure our ongoing financial health. We need a resilient system. We need a system that can survive the jolts and thrive under adverse conditions. We have to go beyond sustainability and create a system that is adaptable and regenerative and resilient. We are still one of the best values. A key indicator of our financial health is our low rate of taxation. The chart on the board here actually reflects what combined millage levied from all of our jurisdictions paid by unincorporated property owners is. And as you can see, Seminole County continues to maintain the lowest tax rate when compared to neighboring Central Florida counties. Contrast low taxes and debt burden with the quality of life that we enjoy here in Seminole County, and you can see why your county commission has maintained the trust and confidence of its citizens by creating real public value. And we like to show you exactly where your tax dollars are being spent. You know, we never expect to see revenue levels return to where they were, but because we planned for it, we have a healthy reserve to help us through the next few years. I think I can speak for my colleagues when I say we will continue to utilize long-range financial planning approach to assess long-term implications and address those challenges ahead of us. And we will also continue to make quality decisions that are identified by that process as we go through it. Planning our financial future is necessary to ensure the ongoing health of our finances in Seminole County. As you can see, we are doing everything that we can to be prepared for the future. And we believe that we will continue to have one of the most desirable places to live, work, and play. We want our grandchildren, like my grandson Dermot, who is the 5th generation of my family to live in Seminole County, to be able to afford to stay in Seminole County and raise his family here. We want all of Seminole County to be a great place. We want our businesses to be strong and really a place where generations for many years will be able to enjoy. And I know that together we can make it happen. Thank you for coming today, and God bless you.